morning student. Today is our topic is horticultural method of plant propagation. It is the last part of this chapter, and in this part the method of artificial vegetative propagation we learn about the two main points, that is nothing but the importance of artificial vegetative propagation, and second important part is role of growth regulator in the horticulture. Let us see one by one which they are. First of all, horticulture. What is meant by horticulture? This is the last point of the part, so we must know. We learn about the horticulture. As we know that horticulture is the science and art of growing fruit, vegetable, flower and crop like the spices and condiments and other plant crops. That is known as the horticulture. Second point is artificial vegetative propagation. This part are also studied. Artificial vegetative propagation is the process of multiplying a plant by the use of parts and the bud of the selected mother plant. These are the two important definition. They are also asked in the examination. Next part, our important part, that is nothing but the importance of artificial vegetative propagation. Let us see one by one which they are. Here, importance of artificial vegetative propagation, in which first one is the new plant is exactly like the parent plant. What is the main aim of artificial vegetative propagation? The main aim is to produce the new plant, but that new plant is exactly like the parent plant. Here, the artificial vegetative propagation that will be exactly produces the new plant like the parent plant. Any desirable feature of the parent plant will be replicated in the new plant. So, identical of the parent plant, they can be produced with the help of artificial vegetative propagation. That is the first importance. Second one is the bearing fruit earlier than the seed growing plant. Here, if we grow the plant with the help of seed, they require more year than that of the artificial vegetative propagation. Here, the fruits or fruit tree, mostly fruit trees grown from the seed, they may take the many years before they start to bear the fruit. But the fruit tree grown from the cutting or by the grafting start to bear the fruit much earlier than that of the seed plant. This is another important point. Third one is the plant grow by vegetative propagation usually need less attention. Okay, it requires the very less attention in their earlier year than the plant grow in the form of seed. If we grow the plant with the help of seed, it requires more and more amount of attention up to the that seed is converted into the seedling. It requires more attention, but here there is a less attention are required here. Fourth point is many plant develop from the single plant. See, from single plant or single parent plant, with the help of artificial vegetative propagation, we produces the number of plants or many plants. And last one is get seedless plant. It is another important feature of artificial vegetative propagation. With the help of artificial vegetative propagation, we grow the seedless plant. Our next point, role of growth regulator. What is the main aim of growth regulator? The growth regulator plays an important role in whole development of the plant, from seedling to the total whole plant, which giving the much amount of or more amount of fruit. That means from seedling to the yield of the plant. The main role of growth regulator is very important. Let us see one by one which they are. The role of growth regulator in horticulture. Here, first one is the propagation. What is meant by propagation, or what is the role of growth regulator in propagation? Because here they are applied in the form of paste and solution to propagate the plant. The concentration of the chemical varies with the plant species and type of cutting and method of the application. Also, rooting in the stem cutting 9 hard to root, that is important. role of the growth regulator here. There are the different growth regulator are there, and that growth regulator plays an important role in the rooting or shooting in the seedling or in the plant, and that growth regulator are nothing but the IAA, indole acetic acid, IBA, indole butyric acid, and NAA, naphthalene acetic acid. These are the three important growth regulator, IAA, IBA, and NAA. They plays an important role in the growth of the plant. Besides that, there are the several growth regulator are also there, like the auxin, gibberellin, cytokinin. These are also important growth regulator, and they plays an important role in the growth of the plant. Here, this growth regulator apply with the help of two methods. First one is the soak method, and second one is the quick dip method. Here in soak method, that prepare the medium or prepare the solution of 10 to 100 ppm from 12 to 24 hours are required to soak that material into the solution, and that method is known as the soak method. Okay, it requires the 12 to 24 hours, and in that span, that specific material or that specific seed can be soaked into that material. Second one is the quick dip method. It is more concentrated than the soak method. Here concentration of the solution is 1000 to 5000 ppm for 5 seconds. It requires only 5 seconds. Apply on the specific part or in the seed only for 5 seconds, and it remove and wash and then apply. Then it is sow into the soil. Here some growth regulator are used in layering, grafting, and budding for getting the high success, for getting the rooting in that layering or grafting. Okay, here these are the two methods of propagation. Next one is the seed germination. As we know that the seed germination, here mostly gibberellic acid significantly accelerate the seed germination rate in many plant species, and pre-soak budding for pre-soak method or pre-soaking method the seed with the gibberellic acid, such as the different plant like the bhendi, sugar beet. These are increase the germination in this plant. So important thing is that the seed germination, and on the yield is totally depend on the seed germination. How percentage of seed germination can be there? On that the yield of the plant is totally depend. If we sow the 100 plant, out of that 100 plant, the germination percent must be 80 to 90%. At that time, that seed are of good quality. So here seed germination is another important part, and for that purpose growth regulator like gibberellic acid, they are used to enhance the germination rate of the seed. Next one is the introduction of flowering. Here the plant growth regulator, for introduction of the flower, different plant growth regulator are applied, and with the help of that growth regulator the induction of flowering can be takes place. Here the different growth regulator like NAA at 10 to 50 ppm causes early flowering in the different plant like the pineapple. After that the 2,4-D at 6 to 10 ppm has used to induce the flowering in apple. After that the flowering can be delayed by 1 to 2 weeks. NAA at 200 to 800 ppm application, that is in apple, cherries, pear, peach, and plums. These are the different concentration, and that different concentration the different plant can get the flowering. So this is the important point where with the help of growth regulator we can enhance the flowering of the plant. Okay, next one is the sex expression. Here two sex expression are there. First one is the male flower, and second one is the female flower. So in some cases, if on the plant female flower is there, at that time only the fruiting can be takes place. For example, in the pomegranate. Okay, in such cases we can change the sex expression of the plant. How? Let us see here. The plant growth regulator can change the sex of the flower. Male sterility can be induced in corn by MH9 malic hydrazide. It is used in the plant breeding for induction of the male sterility here. Application of NAA, IAA, gibberellic acid at the 100 ppm increase the female flower in the different plant like the pumpkin, after the cucumber, to get the more and more amount of the yield. In this way we can change the sex expression of the plant. Next point, it is the flower and fruit thinning. Mostly in some cases, if more and more amount of the flower or fruits they can be accumulate on the branches, there will be the excess load on the branch can be takes place. With the help with that excess load, the branches or the plant or that tree becomes broken. So we must thinning that excess amount of the flower and fruit, and for that purpose also the some growth regulator are used here. Many fruit trees produces the heavy flowering and fruit in 1 year and few or one in next year. By using growth regulator, the normal bearing can be maintained with the help of growth regulator NAA at 5 to 10 ppm and NAA at 5 to 7 ppm of thinning of for the different plant like the apple, peaches and grape. Okay, with the help of we can thin the excess amount of the flowering and fruiting from the plant. Okay, this is about the flower and fruiting. Next point, that is the pre-harvesting, or it is also known as the drop of the fruit. Pre-harvest, or in some cases the dropping of the fruit can also take place, and in that case some growth regulator plays an important role. Here flower and fruit drop is a problem in many fruit crop, or early fruit drop, that is also very critical problem in the fruit plant, and for that purpose the application of NAA at 10 to 50 ppm in mango, citrus and chilies reduce the fruit drop by preventing the formation of abscission layer. What is meant by abscission layer? Abscission layer is nothing but the accumulation of the abscisic acid at that specific part. Okay, for example on the stem, okay, at that specific part, on that part if abscisic acid is induced, that abscisic acid is mainly plays an important role for fruit drop. Okay, if that abscisic acid are accumulated in more amount in earlier stage at that specific part, at that time that fruit is dropped from the plant. So with the help of growth regulator, that is NAA, we can reduce the fruit drop. Next one is the fruit development. Here we can also induce the fruit development in different plant with the help of growth regulator, like application of 50 to 100 ppm of gibberellic acid, and it enhances the fruit development in the grapes. Okay, and it also increase the size of the berries in the grape. Okay, next one is the early maturity. Here early maturity, it fetches the higher price in the market. In some cases, if early mature fruit is available in the market, it gives more and more amount of the yield. So it is a important practice in the horticulture. Here in the pineapple, application of 20 ppm NAA induce early flowering and early maturing at least by 2 months. Spraying of 50 ppm of NAA reduce the maturity in the grape. Use of 250 to 400 ppm of ethereal induces the early maturity in the bear. So in this way we can apply the growth regulator, and with the help of growth regulator the early maturity can be enhanced or induced into the fruit, and with the help of that we can produces more amount of the fruit in early market. Okay, next one, that is early ripening and color development. Here the fruit like the mango, banana, papaya ripe after the harvest. Dipping of fruit in the 20 to 50 ppm ethereal solution induces the golden yellow color to fruit induced early maturity. Okay, in this way we know that about the banana. Okay, most of the banana is treated with the different chemical, and with the help of that the yellow color in that bananas are established there. So for that purpose the delay maturity, it is, or early ripening and color development, that is the important part. Next one is the delay maturity. Here delay in the ripening, early maturity or early maturity is another part, and delay maturity for the, it is also for the gaining more and more amount of the yield from that specific fruit. So delay in the ripening, it required when fruit are to be set or sent to the long distance market. For that purpose that maturity may be delayed, and it is induced by dipping the fruit in 2,4-D or 2,4,5-T or MH4T extend storage of life of the fruit. So in this way we can also delay the maturity. Next one is the sprouting of the bud. Here ethyl, gibberellic acid, thiourea, IBA and cytokinin, they are important growth regulator. They are mostly important or induce the sprouting of the bud here. So this is the role of growth regulator. And last point is the breaking of the dormancy. If seed are in the dormant condition, they does not converted into the seedling. So it must require in the horticulture that each and every seed can be or breaking of dormancy of each and every seed can be important here. So for the breaking of dormancy, the gibberellic acid, ethyl, Na, they are used in breaking the dormancy in the seed and bud, and that is the important practice in the horticulture. And all these are the role of the growth regulator. And in this way, thank you very much.